I've always loved Shrek. I promise this is going somewhere interesting. I've always loved Shrek. I've always loved that ogres have layers, onions have layers. And I've loved that he's like misunderstood. Like he's a big scary guy, but secretly he's a real sweetheart under there, you know? Did I map that onto myself a little bit? Maybe a little. You know, what are you gonna do? The reason I'm bringing that up is because this healing journey, the more time that passes, the more cyclical things start to feel. I feel like there's a topic, like a childhood traumatic experience or a feeling loved, trusting myself, something like that. And then it just starts this like long journey where I'm trying to understand it, maybe intellectualizing it a little bit. Then I'm feeling it in my body. Then I'm kind of seeing how it resonates with me as like a person. Do I love this? Do I not love this? Can I let it go? Can I keep it? And it's funny because it's like when a month passes and you're coming back to the same topic, you start to feel kind of like, am I losing my mind? Am I just kind of like repeating these cycles? That's not the case. You're actually coming back to it with so much more insight into yourself. Like that topic is almost like a channeling rod. I played like medieval fantasy games, right? So like I think my examples tend to lean there, but like a channeling rod or a spell or a staff or something, right? Like me wanting to love myself or me trying to like unpack how I'm loving myself is like, it's like the tool by which to like reflect on all these things. How does my body feel about that? What does it look like in my body to love myself? What does it look like in my brain to love myself? What does it look like in my spirit or my soul or in artistic practice? Yeah. And it's like you just keep peeling back layers. Yeah. I think I knew I had been traumatized as a child for maybe the last 10 years. It was really repressed. And I didn't believe it at first. I was like, no, that's made up in my head. That's fictional. That's me over dramatizing, you know? And then it's like, well, maybe a little bit's real. And then you start unpacking it and you unpack it and you unpack it. And it's like, I can go on these week-long journeys of like trying to understand myself, but I feel like I was on this like 10-year long one, you know? And I feel like just now it's starting to like really resonate in a way where I'm like, oh my God, a layer's been pulled back and there's more. When you repress memories, at least for me, when I repress memories, I'm still gonna say you because I feel like I'm talking both to myself and to my like teenage self and my kid self. So it's like, I see us as a unit, you know? When a memory's been repressed, it's your body trying to protect yourself, right? It's too much to handle. But when you put yourself in a safe scenario or a scenario where healing naturally occurs, those layers pull back organically. Time away from work, time away from life, time off the grid, time not speaking to people, time being quiet has given me so much space to land and have rough evenings and rough days and have challenging conversations. I can push my logical rationality to its limit and then realize that there's limits to it. In the layer I've been in, right? So let's say a traumatic experience happens and then it's like layers upon layers of like protection are being added, right? I'm at the layer I'm at, I have to take it very seriously I can't be like, no, there's like 7 steps along this. It's like the layer I'm at, I have to be there. It reminds me of like an RPG or something. It's like if you're trying to build your character for like 90 steps ahead, the present moment stuff becomes really not fun because you're just thinking about the end game, right? I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but I just have to be there now, right? And like make the best of the moment right now. And logical things in my brain where I'm like, this person's hurting me. I need to get away from this thing. I need to stop doing this thing. I need to start doing this thing. If you're not taking those things seriously, if you're not taking those thoughts seriously and approaching them with curiosity, that's the thing I always come back to, right? Like, how do I approach this with as much curiosity and love as possible? Then the growth doesn't happen. If I'm thinking in my head, how am I going to like route out trauma and CPTSD and you know, how do I get to the core of this thing? It really doesn't appreciate the onion layer we're at right now. So what I do is I don't take those thoughts seriously. I'm like, they're stupid because obviously that's not true, because obviously I'm experiencing childhood trauma, or I'm like reliving it. But if I don't take it seriously, then no growth is able to happen. When I have insane thoughts, wild, like terrible thoughts of like not trusting people, or that what I'm doing is really bad, what I do is I start to push those things away, and I start to go, they're not real. Those don't exist. Those are made up. I can contort my brain into something that listens to me and respects me and whatever. And it's like, when I have one of those terrible thoughts, if I think I'm a bad artist, or that I'm wasting my time, or that I have no good skills, and then I just go, no, like that's bad. Push it away. It still exists there. And then I'm not able to get to that next layer. I kind of say stuck. Arrested development. Term I did not understand. Truly, maybe I don't fully understand yet, but like, it's the type of thing you hear and you're like, oh, I get it. But it's like, no, now I get it. I had set my development. I had arrested my development. What's the point I'm trying to get at here? This goes a level deeper. I thought I understood the traumatic experiences I went through. I thought I fully could recount every single thing. I couldn't. There's stuff that's still repressed. There's stuff that's still coming up. And I know it is because when I think it, my whole body like, doesn't feel good, right? I know when it's something that is on a layer, on a lighter layer, when I can almost like present it. And sorry, there's a truck coming. Just gonna take a chance to take a deep breath, I think. Okay. I can tell when it's a layer that maybe I have progressed past, when I feel myself rehearsing it, or like saying it in a way where I'm like presenting it for others, making it palatable for others. And I know that's not right, but I can feel it. Like when you go to a therapist and you have to give them your whole life story, and it's like you're kind of skipping over things that maybe you feel like you fully processed. Or you're like, yeah, I had this difficult friendship, or like, yeah, I had this abusive thing, whatever. Like, let's keep it going. I saw it as things meant to like be beaten, like a checklist. That's not how it works. These things exist forever. They're your history. They're your memories. And they're other people's history, and they're other people's memories too, right? And you, when you honor them and you sit with them and you reflect on your own life, when you see things that remind you of other things and you sit with it, I realize there's layers to traumatic experience that I've explained to people. In moments of vulnerability, I've explained the childhood abuse I went through. But there's still more. There's still levels to it. There's still layers. And I know that today because I finally felt safe enough to like really go and sit there in a way that wasn't speaking about these things in vaguities, in vague concepts. you can bring up to a friend if it's relevant in the conversation or whatever that you experienced childhood abuse. They probably get it, or they're like, let's not. We don't have to like go through every specific memory of that. I'm aware that you went through that, and that can help inform whatever my understanding of you. That's as deep as I went, even in myself, for a long time. I could recognize, and that was the hardest part for that period, was that I didn't believe it happened to me. So just believing that a situation happened to me was its own journey. That was its own layer. And then you peel it back and it's like, okay, well, what happened to me? And that has made me physically uncomfortable. It's made me exhausted. It's made me scared, because you open up that box and it leads to a whole different set of a personal journey. What does it look like with the people that I know? How do I talk about it? How do I not drag other people into this? How do I not make every conversation about this? How do I know how to like temper it? Do I write about it? Do I talk to a therapist about it? Do I do both? Do I speak it out? Do I talk into a camera? Do I write on Reddit? I don't know. I'm not overly invested in what the solution is. I'm just trying to sit here with it. And it's hard. And it's an onion layer that I don't think I had gotten to, or it's an onion layer in myself that has not been opened since maybe 12 or 13 years old, maybe. I don't know. I don't know when the last time. Maybe never. Maybe never. And I can have so much love now for the layers of protection and how they are trying to keep me safe. It feels like my body, especially my body, but also my brain, they're both so incredible. They did not, like, I'm going to tell such a stupid example. Maybe not stupid, but it's what resonates with me. In World of Warcraft or the Warcraft universe, there are blood elves. They are elves that are addicted to magic. Their king or their prince, Kael'thas, has to leave to go to another universe to whatever. I won't go into all the story, but he basically has to appoint someone to be in charge while he's away, and 90% of their population has been killed. So they appoint Lorthamar. He's like a ranger general. And he's not qualified for this. He's not good at paperwork. He's not good at these things. He's good at fighting. And there's like all the challenges that come from that of how do you transition from someone who's really good at combat into someone who's really good as a politician or a representative with other groups or whatever. I think my brain and body are that. They were kid brain and body being asked to process things as an adult. How do you make sense of abuse you've experienced without completely losing your mind? You add layers, you add protection, you add safety. You say, I'm not going there now. Are you I can't go there. I can't process that right now. Who am I going to speak to about it? My safety is being compromised. And then it's like you spend years hating your brain and your body and going, why am I thinking these terrible thoughts? Why can I not sleep? Why can I not be normal? Why can't I hug someone and not get in my head that I'm being weird? You start to miss lessons. You start to not learn things. You start to shut down. You start to create false identities for yourself, right? Like, the layers serve you, but and truly, I wasn't in safe places to unpack those things. Only now. I'm 31. It took me 31 years to get to a place where I'm comfortable unpacking a lot of this stuff. And does part of me wish I didn't have to unpack all this stuff? Yeah, sure. On tough days, I'm like, maybe it'd be better. But like, it's like a red pill, blue pill matrix thing. I love the Wachowskis so much. Once you've seen that reality, it's really hard to go back. I understand the fear that leads someone to want to go back, but I've had people sell me bullshit courses. I've bought in a lot of bullshit courses. I will truly admit that. I'm not the best with money. I can accept that. I'm relearning my relationship with money. But I have bought a lot of courses where they will give that exact spiel. Once the curtain's been pulled back, you can't go back. Of course, they're talking about like fucking drop shipping or something. And I'm 18 going, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. This is like me pulling the curtain back on myself. Like, once you have started that journey of unpacking a lot of these traumas, it's really hard to go back. It's really hard to go back. And it puts other people in a difficult situation too, which is a part that really hurts truly, is that by talking about these things, it makes other people have to sit with their own stuff, which I did not realize at the time, that it was kind of putting a lot of pressure on other people to kind of like need to percolate on their own feelings, and it puts a lot of pressure on them. And people who I've dragged that into, I feel so much pain and guilt. I feel guilty about it because I didn't really realize what I was doing, talking about these things, and I'm really sorry. But that also doesn't mean I need to stop going on the journey, right? Like, it's just I need to reframe my approach. I need to reach out to the right people. I need to ask for what I need in a more clear and direct way. I also need to ask for consent before going to those places. Yeah. Once you're peeling the layers, it's hard to stop, but it's also really beautiful and has led to a lot of art, personal, private art, things I felt comfortable posting online, even these things. It's like I need a way to channel it. I'm like looking for a channeling rod. And then also frustrated that maybe I don't have the like musical knowledge or like ability to express myself in these ways. Something I've been doing through this process is of recovery. Is asking myself what I truly love and seeing like what I feel about it. One level deeper, peeling an onion layer back, I'm starting to make statements about my identity and seeing if I agree with those. A great example is for my entire life, I've always seen myself as someone that is bad at school, hates teachers. And it's not like, no, it was a chip on my shoulder. I was doing bad at school. So it's like you lean into that and you go like, okay, well, maybe if I actually think school is stupid and it sets me up for failure, yada, 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 then maybe that'll make me feel a bit better. I fucking love learning. I love learning stuff. I'm reading fucking Wikipedia articles all day. And I'm learning about concepts like that I had never really like considered, I guess. I'm learning things about myself. It's like this amazing reciprocal thing where it's like I read fiction and it makes me think about my own life. I read nonfiction. I read historical things. Like for a long time I thought like pre-modern technology history was something that was really like not interesting to me, but it actually is. I feel like I learned so much about like my own life and stuff like that. And that's like a fucking hard pill to swallow, you know what I mean? Like to say that maybe I've constructed an identity that doesn't really serve me anymore. My brain goes like, okay, what do we do from there? And it's like, it's literally nothing. You don't do anything. It just happens. You're just observing. I've always associated myself as being bad with money, having a tough relationship with money. I always feel like I'm scamming somebody. I always feel like I'm doing something illegal or something wrong, even when I'm not. I become afraid to check my email. I become afraid to check my texts, phone calls, voicemails. I'm always scared it's going to be somebody from the government or somebody from the tax, like CRA or whatever. I'm doing everything fine, and it's like I should have a trust in myself that it's like it'll be okay. And even if I did do something wrong, it's okay. Like, it just happens. But that's a hard one to swallow, because I don't really go around telling people I'm afraid to look at my email. That's like a personal identity thing that's like buried deep down inside of me. And it's like I don't like that. It has served me. It's kept me safe in a lot of ways. It's made me hypervigilant. And I can understand why it might have emerged in a certain way based on how I grew up, the people around me, mimicking behaviors, but also like understanding it within myself. But I don't want that anymore. It's coming from a place that maybe doesn't serve me anymore. And what does that look like? Well, again, I don't know. There are times where I can't look at logistic stuff because I'm going through some shit. But there's also times I'm not looking at logistic stuff because I'm overwhelmed and afraid. To acknowledge that both exist, that two truths can be correct, is hard, but it allows me to actually be realistic. Sometimes I'm not looking at my email because I'm afraid of what I'm going to see in there. I'm putting off something. I know I'm putting off something. I feel like I'm going to be in trouble. I think of the worst possible email that could be sitting in my inbox. And then I become afraid. But there's other times where it's like right now, I feel myself emotionally going through some shit, and I know that if I check my email, it's going to open so many additional loops that I'm like, I need to give myself some space right now. And I can trust that whatever is in my inbox is, if I get to it in a day or two, it'll be okay. If that makes sense? I feel myself clenching my fists. Like getting like nervous. Not because anybody's here. It's just the feeling. This happened also with art. I made a YouTube video with a bunch of like, how do I describe it? I really like DJing. I have a YouTube channel where I post like mixes and stuff. And I've been thinking about how people put their face on the DJ mix so people can see it, and how I've been so afraid of being perceived. So I was like, what if I make the whole mix just me copying and pasting my face like around the thing? And I called it Fear of Being Perceived. And then I posted it. And I sent it to some people. Whatever. Didn't hook friends or family. And what happens from that, I start to go, that was so pretentious. Oh, what's wrong with me? I have no actual skills. What is this? What am I doing? You know, like those types of thoughts. But I'm having those types of thoughts and actively pushing them away as I'm thinking them. No, can't go there, can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. But then I took a breath and I sat with it and I said, okay, well, let's be curious about this for a second. You have no financial pressure to make things in a certain way. You have no societal pressure to make things in a certain way. You're on break. You can make whatever you want. You can make stuff that's completely out of left field. You can make nothing. You could delete everything. It's entirely your choice. And even in those moments, what I'm doing is deriving a certain level of validation from other people's interpretations of it. And I'm going, well, maybe this didn't hook people. Maybe it's bad. Maybe I'm a fucking failure. Maybe this is a gigantic waste of time. Maybe what I'm doing is stupid. Maybe everybody hates me. And I'm like, let's be curious about those things for a second. Where is this coming from? Where is this going? Well, is part of the artistic expression that I need positive validation from other people? In a way. I like sharing things that are fun for other people. I love sharing stuff. I love putting people onto music videos. I love putting people onto artists that maybe they haven't heard. That's the thing I like. I love mixing as well. I love doing like dance mixes, house mixes, stuff like that. But I think what I really love is putting people onto music. I think I'm good at it too. I feel like I can really hype people up on why they should listen to a song or an artist or why it's meaningful. And I'm like, maybe I like radio. Maybe that's the expression. How can I get closer to an expression that gives me self-confidence? How do I not contort my vision into something that can be palatable to other people in a way that's like I'm disregarding myself, because I'm also part of the equation, right? Like truly, I'm a big part of it as well, because I'm the one making it and putting it out there. And if I'm motivated by like views or engagement or results, then it's going to come out really like hammy, you know? Like when you know it's SEO optimized, when you can tell a YouTuber is doing it as a job, you can tell. Why am I doing that? Why am I emulating something that I don't even want for myself? And it's like, well, okay, because maybe you're not trusting your vision enough, so you're seeking out other people as a way to emulate it. Okay, that's interesting. Let's sit with that for a second. Like, now I've spieled for 10 minutes or whatever. Like, that wouldn't have happened if I just went, this is a bad thought and I shouldn't think it and I should whatever. Like, going to those darker places and having comfort in going to those darker places can create so much light. And that's where the onion layers get peeled back, to me personally. At least that's how it's been feeling right now, is like every time I push those things away, every time I ignore a part of myself, I don't feel my cup getting filled. But every time I express those needs in a way like this, I didn't need to tell anybody this. I just got to express it. But there's other times where it's like maybe like, oh, I don't like how this friendship is looking right now, or you know, I'm having a hard time setting my own boundaries, or whatever. Or with work, like how do I want to spend my days, or you know. What I often do is use external prescription of how I should be acting. And that comes from masking, and that comes from hiding a part of myself, that comes from disassociating. But as I get more comfortable with that, as I feel that out more in a more meaningful way, I'm starting to develop my own like internal compass. And a moment like that where I post a video that maybe doesn't resonate with people, and that could become me paying to promote it. Like there's been older videos where I'll put $50 in so that people can see it. Why? Like, who's seeing it? Who, like, it reminds me of these videos because it's like, I really made these. I really published them as an exercise in vulnerability, or like, I don't know, maybe that's giving a bit too much intention to it, but it's like, I really published them for myself. And to see comments that are long and detailed and so incredible, like in terms of reflecting on your own stuff, I'm like, okay, maybe this is a lot for some people, but some people are in this mode where they're thinking about all this stuff in their life, and like maybe this can resonate with them. Not in a way where now I have to shift everything and like keyword stuff the fucking videos, but it's like, that's what made me want to post these things on Reddit, because I was like, oh, there's communities of people thinking about this stuff, and like, I don't know if it'll resonate, but like, you know, it's worth putting it out there and seeing. And Yeah, it's funny. It's like I work in marketing and I spend so much time thinking about like how to get people to care about something. And that's its own journey that like I don't really feel good about staying in marketing. I think communications is really where my passion is, not marketing. But it's funny that it's like when I've not cared about, or when I've made something truly for myself, is when I've gotten comments that have literally like warmed my fucking soul. And I think that's really what it is it's like it's really hard to make stuff masked. It's really hard to give up a part of your identity to make yourself palatable for other people. Because in your head you feel like what you're doing is a good thing, but what you're doing is you're actually like hurting your own ability to express yourself. You as a person can be weird, can be off the wall, can be difficult, truly. And it's like, if you're difficult and people don't like it, it's a chance for you to reflect of like, is this difficulty serving me? Are these boundary setting? Is this something I need to explore within myself? Like, to get better at masking means you give up more of yourself. To get better at being open and honest and transparent and vulnerable and authentic, being authentically you, is really fucking hard. And especially if you haven't done it in a really long time, it requires you to peel back layers. Artistic expression requires you to peel back layers. Like real artistic expression. Yes, I could make a shitty Let's Play channel and pretend to be someone I'm not, but it's like, if I want to do this in a way that's authentic to me, how does that look? Anyway, I think that's a good spot to call it. I'm rooting for all of you. If you've taken the time to watch this video, I fucking love you so much. I'm cheering for you. It's a fucking journey, man. It's a journey. But I'm on the journey too, so if it makes you feel any better. Okay, have a good one.